And then they saw me in a bra, and that was it.
What's going on, Pearl Jam nerds? You're listening to Single Podcast Theory, and I'm Brad Lyons.
And I'm Brad Blazek.
Yeah, you are. I just don't know what to say after you say your name anymore.
Yeah. We'll do the like, we're a Pearl Jam, all Pearl Jam podcast.
We're an all Pearl Jam podcast. If you like Pearl Jam, listen to us. And I just smiled and put 2 thumbs up, even though you can't see me.
I saw it.
You heard it.
Mm-hmm.
You heard it in my voice. No, but for real, that's what we are. We're an all Pearl Jam podcast, even though we have done a few Chris Cornell episodes, actually. This will be...
Well, all Pearl Jam, all things Pearl Jam related. How do you say that?
Yeah, totally. And that was kind of the point was just like, he's such a kind of intertwined part of that story. There's no way I think we could do a Pearl Jam podcast and not talk about Chris quite often.
Yeah.
But this I Am the Highway tribute was pretty cool. I still haven't gotten to watch all of it yet. I burned through as much as I could before we started today, but so I can't wait to go home and watch the rest of it.
It's pretty cool. I watched most of it last night, and then I watched what was it? Temple the Dog and the Soundgarden part this morning.
Yeah,
and it's pretty cool. I mean, it was a pretty cool thing. I mean, there was so much stuff going on.
Yeah, I mean the whole thing
we're
was
gonna
great.
get into.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, we're gonna pick out a few moments and kind of run through the night because there's some. I was surprised at how a lot of times, man. Like, and we'll talk about this, but a lot of times these tribute shows are awesome. You know what I mean? Like, you're glad they're happening, whatever. But sometimes the performances can really just blow. This was not one of. There was some really good shit in there. Yeah,
definitely. And the stuff that like wasn't my favorite was still good.
Right.
There was no like holy shit, that was awful. There was no cringy moments at all.
Again, I haven't seen all of it. I've seen most of it, but there was no, like you said, there's some stuff that was like, well, that was cool. It wasn't great, but it definitely wasn't. Right. You know, I'm glad they were there. You know, that's cool.
Yeah.
But then some of them are like, holy shit, that was amazing. It seems like a lot of these people actually kind of lived with some of these songs that they sang.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Just as people, like, as listeners of music. So we will talk about that later. If you'd like to email us, you can email us at singlepodcasttheory@gmail.com. Hit us up on all the socials. If you'd like to support the show, you can go to patreon.com, patreon.com/singlepodcasttheory. And we have a new patron this week. Am I correct?
Aaron Ashley.
Hell
signed
yeah.
up. So yeah, thank you, Aaron. That's awesome.
Is that Aaron or ERIN?
It is, yes, Aaron.
All right, cool. Thanks, Aaron. I appreciate that, and thanks to all you guys.
I'm sure he loves when people say that.
I know he's never heard it before.
5 years, right?
Ever. I was the first one. Oh God, I'm the worst. Just take your money back, Aaron. We don't deserve it. No, but seriously, thanks so much for helping us out. We appreciate it. You got anything else?
No.
Let's do some Pearl Jam story time.
Good evening. This is Storytellers. We are here to tell stories.
We just have friends up here that are listening to stories.
Have I got a little story for you?
This is the true story.
All right, who you got, Brad?
Craig Peterson wrote in back in September, and he says, Brad Radio, Been listening to your podcast since its beginning. Love listening to podcasts and love Pearl Jam. Combining the two has been a lot of fun. You guys do a great job mixing it up. My Pearl Jam story, or rather my set of short stories, along with my wife, starts back when it all began. I was in my senior year of college at Washington State when I saw the Alive video. That song/video grabbed me immediately. My roommate bought the 10 CD, which I recorded onto one of my many overused blank tapes. Listened to that disc constantly. However, as with many Pearl Jam songs, the whole disc didn't grab me all at once, but rather it seemed to be a song at a time. First Alive, Even Flow, Black, then Porch, and Release soon followed. Shout out to buying full albums and giving them time rather than just checking out a song or two. And along those same lines, Pearl Jam albums evolve the same way. My favorites list my favorites list of songs and albums is in a constant state of flux. After I graduated and started teaching, I met another new teacher who had recently graduated from Western Washington University, which is halfway between Seattle and Vancouver, BC. One of the conversation pieces that immediately endeared me to her was the fact that she frequented clubs in those cities while in college. She often saw the Seattle bands in small clubs as they were just starting to break. Alice in Chains, Mother Love Bone, Soundgarden, etc. She often saw Stone and Jeff hanging out at these clubs, as one of her partners in crime dated Stone a bit. One night her friend asked her if she wanted to go check out that quote-unquote Mookie Blaylock band at the Moore Theater. My future wife turned it down since she really needed to study. It ended up being the video for Even Flow. Big regret in her life. Dude, could you imagine just hanging out and seeing like all those bands before they got huge? And then they get huge and you're like, oh shit.
I know. It's crazy. Like bands come through Birmingham like that now because we have some really good venues, but in the 90s, man, we didn't have shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, that did not happen here. I mean, it happened some, but not that kind of stuff.
I'll go see shows like in Nashville. Like there's this place called Rock. Do you know Rocketown? Mm-hmm. And what's another one? What's that one place? I can't remember now. But they're just smaller venues. Mm-hmm. And I'll go and I'll see these bands and I'll just like picture like what would it be like to see Pearl Jam on this stage, this tiny little club type place, Oh
yeah.
All right, anyway, a couple years ago, my wife and I booked a trip with some friends to Boston to see both shows at Fenway. But before that trip, we were in Bend, Oregon on the 4th of July and started talking to a guy from Colorado. After a few minutes of small talk, discovered we were big fans of Pearl Jam, and he had tickets to the Ride Festival in Telluride where Pearl Jam was playing. He couldn't use the tickets and couldn't seem to sell them on StubHub, so he just gave them to us. We hopped in the car a couple days later and road trip to Telluride. A few weeks later, we saw the epic shows in Boston. Then later that year, it was announced Pearl Jam will be inducted into the Hall of Fame. It coincided perfectly with our spring break. Meant to be. So off we went to see Eddie and the boys get into the hall. It was quite a year. But now here we are with another epic year. Last December, my wife and I were listening to a Pearl Jam cover band in Portland. After a few beers, I jokingly leaned to my wife and said we should travel to Italy and see Pearl Jam in Rome. The next morning, my wife was online looking into the possibility. Because of our accumulated airline miles, it was doable. Before you knew it, we purchased tickets to see them in Milan and Rome. Both were incredible shows, of course, but here's the crazy part. A couple days after the Rome show, we were people watching in Piazza Navona, a big plaza in Rome. We were watching a street musician performing Black. I was wearing a Pearl Jam shirt. When he finished, I gave him €1 and pointed out my shirt. When I turned around, this big guy said, "Hey, check out that Pearl Jam shirt." I politely, enthusiastically gave him a thumbs up. Turns out the guy was a friend of Mike McCready. And he was pointing it out to none other than Mike McCready. I couldn't believe it. Mike graciously shook my hand and talked with my wife and me for a good 10 minutes. He had his Instamatic camera and was just checking out the sights before they headed to Prague. Such a great guy. Man,
Yeah, no shit. That's awesome.
that would be incredible.
Yeah.
Just hanging out. And he sent us a picture of himself and his wife with Mike. It's just like,
That's
man.
badass, man.
So jealous. He kind of looks like David Spade.
Oh, really?
Craig does, yeah.
Look at this.
When I share with others how many times I've seen Pearl Jam, it will be 20 after Montana. People don't get it, but I know you guys and all your listeners will understand. With each show being unpredictable, you are always in for something you haven't experienced before. And as I get older, I'm convinced more and more that you have to seize the opportunity when it's there. The fact that these guys are still together and are still as passionate as ever is a rarity for sure. My 21-year-old self never would have believed that my enthusiasm for this band would still be as strong, if not stronger, than ever at this advanced age. And to top it off, my brother, my best friend, and my wife all love them as much as I do. So it has been a pretty cool bond that has been with us since the beginning. Keep up the great work. Enjoying the podcast. Sorry for the verbose email. Sure, Blazek will be able to blaze right through it. Your listener, Craig from Washington State.
He does look like David Spade. I was just looking at the picture.
Yeah,
That's an
he
awesome
does.
picture.
Yeah, it is.
That's great. That's so funny. Yeah, he could be like David Spade's brother or something.
Right.
Like he's like David Spade's like more athletic brother.
Right. Yeah, bigger. He's like bigger.
He's like he's you
bigger
know,
David Spade.
Yeah. Man, that's funny. That's some cool Pearl Jam stories.
Yeah. And the fact that Mike sat and talked with him for like 10 minutes.
Yeah, man.
That's pretty cool.
I love that. Woo.
But he says, in the email here, he says that you have to seize the opportunity when it's there. And it's like, I've been thinking about that
It's
like
true.
the last few years. Like, just go to every single show that you can go to.
That's
You
how
know?
I felt about the Wrigley shows. Is like, other than the show, it's like I don't know how I'm gonna make this happen. I'm just putting the date on my calendar and knowing that I have to be in Chicago those days and
Right.
just figure it out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, that's like, Metallica in Birmingham is coming up. Mm-hmm. And I've been kind of like, I don't know if I can do it. I'm already doing Nashville. It's a long drive and just like, fuck it. I'm going.
Yeah.
Like I'll make it happen somehow. And it's, it's about to happen.
Yeah, it's gonna be cool. I mean, we'll get to hang out with. Especially cool for me because I won't get to see Clint and Ethan on the Metal Up Your podcast party the next
Yeah.
night because I'll be flying. But yeah, I know what you mean. I'm getting that way with shows too. It's just like seeing that Wrigley show as well. Just made me realize I felt how long it had been since I'd seen Pearl Jam, if that makes
Yeah.
any sense. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
fuck, it's been a long time since I've seen them,
Yeah. Well, and for me, I've seen them, a bunch of times over the years, and it's like in the moment, I go through like, should I go? Can I afford it? It's a long drive or whatever. Mm-hmm. But now looking back at it, I'm like, man, I'm so glad I racked up all these shows, and I wish I would have gone to the few that I had tickets and I just didn't go, And I think my daughter asked me the other day about there's some bands she really likes, and the closest they're gonna be is like 3.5 hours away,
Right.
and I'm like, just go. Just go.
Just do it.
Like, I'll go with you. Like, if it's, if it's the drive or whatever. I said, well, let's just go. So.
That's cool. You gotta seize the day, my friend.
Yeah.
Carpe diem. You know what I'm saying? All right. Thanks for the story, Craig.
Yeah, thank you, Craig.
All right.
Who you got?
I got Lucas McLean. It's the
I like
first
this one.
email from Lucas. He says, "What's up, Brads? I've been a listener since nearly the beginning, but this is my first time emailing, even though I've had the desire to do so since around the time of the Hall of Fame episodes. I've held off this long because I didn't really know how to express what I wanted to say via email. I found your podcast, like many other listeners, by searching Pearl Jam in Apple Podcasts. I had decided to do so because I had just started listening to Pearl Jam the same day. Holy shit. I'd heard the classics from Tin, of course, but up until that day, I'd never given the band a fair shot because of the stereotypical criticisms that I grew up hearing about Ed's voice. I'm 24 now and was 23 at the time. All I can say is I feel so ripped off that I missed out on this amazing band for so long, but I'm thankful to be on the ride now. I love this paragraph because I see this happen all the time. Like, a certain generation of people are, we've talked about this before, are just like, oh, fuck that dude, you know, blah, 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 all this stuff.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you're saying that, you have not listened to anything but like Jeremy and Alive. Or whatever's been on, maybe been on the radio or something. Like, you have not listened to this band's shit. Because if you had, you wouldn't say that. And even if you didn't like it, you'd be like, no, they're a great band. It's just not my thing. I feel like that's true. Obviously, I'm a little, you know, I don't know.
And they kind of spawned so many, you know, lesser bands. Like, they were the first one of their genre. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying like the grunge genre, but there's something different and special about Pearl Jam.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally. I agree.
And then you have all these other bands that kind of tried to sound like them. So Pearl Jam gets lumped in with those bands for people that don't realize they were the first one to do it.
Right. To them, Pearl Jam, Stained, and Creed are all in the same bucket.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
I can't believe you
gross.
said that, but yeah, that's.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm never gonna say that sentence ever again.
Please don't.
It says, I wanted to thank you for making me a massive Pearl Jam fan. Around the time I discovered the band and your show, I was going through a lot of really heavy stuff in my life. Pearl Jam's music felt and still feels like a medication and a simultaneous escape from the trials that life brings. I can say the same about your show. At the time I started listening to you guys, I was working as a cashier at Target. Listening to you guys rant about anything Pearl Jam related while I smoked a cigarette during breaks got me through the stress that a job in retail has been known to bring. Amen, Brother Lucas. I've been there, my friend. Oh,
yeah, definitely.
God, running an Apple store during holiday, woo! Man, you start hating people real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's another reason why I don't like the holidays, is that I used to work retail over the holiday. He says, I suppose I just want to say thanks for making me a diehard fan. Your passion for the band has translated so well for me that now I share it. I really don't, I don't know, oh my God, I just had a moment. I'm having senior moments at 40. I don't really know how I could have gotten through the last year without Pearl Jam's music and your show. I'm now in a much better place in life, and the band means more to me than ever. No Code is my favorite record currently, but I haven't listened to much of anything past Yield yet because I wanted to take my time and truly appreciate and digest each album. That's a smart way to do it, especially with this band, I think. I honestly don't see No Code being knocked off the throne, though. I've only listened to 2 bootlegs so far, Soldier Field 95 and Inglewood 98. That's a nice time period right there.
Yeah, definitely.
I really can't get over how amazing they are live. I live in Greenville, South Carolina, so you can imagine my dismay when I realized they played Versus in its entirety here in 2016. Oh, shit, dude.
Yeah.
If only I discovered them just a little sooner. Thank you guys so much for taking the time to do the show. I can honestly say that it's made a major difference in my life, and Pearl Jam will forever be one of my favorite bands, partly due to the effort you guys put in every week. Here's to hoping we can catch a Pearl Jam show in the future. Lucas McLean. Hell yeah, we will. We'll find a way to catch a show, dude.
Definitely. Yeah, Lucas, dude, thank you so much. That just makes me, like, my heart swell.
Yeah, man.
Like, when he says that we've helped him, like, the show has helped him get over his, bullshit in life.
The funk.
Yeah, that's a really nice compliment. I don't know how to say it, but
yeah, man, you got to bring that positivity into the world, bro.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? But seriously, thanks so much, Lucas. Appreciate it, dude. All right, you got our friend Devin Dowdy.
Double Brads. We caught up on a couple of Wrigley pods, and again, fucking props. Devin's kind of, this is like a kind of a recap of since they've been trying to catch up with all these episodes of ours.
Right.
He says, Blazek, your 2013 recap, epic. Even as a Cardinals fan, that moment when Ernie Banks came out super late, I lost it. Mr. fucking Cub. So cool.
Yeah, man.
As far as y'all's 4-hour marathon, 2018 Wrigley recap, there's so many moments of hilarity, like the pink vomit. But 3 moments really touched my heart. I mean, the pink vomit touched my heart.
What was the pink vomit? Oh, my pink vomit.
Yeah, you
gotcha.
got thrown up on.
Yeah.
Blazek, you wanting the experience for Lions, because that's some selfless shit that rules, transcends tunes, and gets to why this pod matters to so many.
Hell yeah.
Lions, when you talked about being back at night 1 after 20 years away, all the trials and tribulations, and just coming apart, man, that hit me in the soul. We've all got shit, and Pearl Jam has been the soundtrack to my life. It's part of why I'm still here. # blessed.
Yeah, man. You got to put the hashtag blessed on the one directed at me.
The end moment in the car where he keeps saying y'all, and it's just, I don't even want to read this. The end moment in the car where y'all are chatting, and Kate mentions that she hopes that there are more times like these ahead. I choke up even typing it out now.
Yeah, man.
Partly because Pearl Jam shows are my church, so I always hope there are more of those times. More so because such a big part of life is just having something to look forward to. And more than that even, I harken back to all the times I've had with friends, be them at Pearl Jam shows, other shows, live events, and how some of those friends are lost to hard drugs, pills, booze, or how those connections have faded over time, and now those moments are fleeting. She said what I feel in my heart, and most folks do, but don't say. So thanks to Kate for that shit. Anyway, sorry to ramble, but thanks. It matters. Y'all matter. And thanks. Hail, hail, Dev.
Hell yeah, Dev.
Dev, you matter too.
Everybody matters.
Yeah.
We're all special.
No, that's another. This is like the emotional email.
It's a love fest today.
Yeah,
I
totally.
like it.
Yeah.
I like, and that sounds very, I don't mean like, I love it when people compliment our show. I
Right.
just mean, I don't mean it that way. I just mean,
No.
yeah, it's just good, happy, positive shit, you know?
I love that people love Brad Lyons.
Oh yeah, dude. What's not to love?
Speaking of Kate,
What?
she is coming to Nashville.
What?
Mm-hmm.
When?
For the Metal Up Your
I knew you were going to
Podcast
say
party.
that. Damn it.
Yeah, you dumb bastard.
Mm-hmm. Well,
she's upset. We're upset. Everyone's upset that you're not going to be in Nashville in a couple
yeah,
of days.
but, and that sucks. But, Brad, I'm going to be, I looked at the weather, and it's going to be like 70. I'm going to be on the beach in California. It's going to be like 76 degrees and windy, and it's going to be fucking awesome. So, I'll be all right. But I'll miss you guys.
Oh, speaking of that, we should mention that next week we are not going to have an episode.
Yes. We're going to have a week off next week because I'll be gone. And
yeah, we just can't. I'm going to be in Nashville, Birmingham on Tuesday, and then Nashville like pretty much the rest of the week. So it's just,
yeah, man.
Can't make it happen.
We'll
What if I did like a radio episode tomorrow? Well, no, you'd have to cut it, so you wouldn't be able to do that. Never mind.
probably not. Anyway,
Do you think people want to hear that? Me
I'm
just
gonna do
talking like a DJ thing.
like a DJ thing. Well, yeah, like
Like
an
I
old
just-
school DJ thing, like where they would just get on there and talk about stuff.
Yeah, just get on and like talk about songs I like. Not even Pearl Jam stuff, just anything.
Yeah, I'm going to.
Yeah, but you'll be good at it.
Oh, don't be so sure about that, Brad. I'm liable to have a complete come apart mentally. Just go through, or people are going to think that because I listen to a lot of what people consider depressing music. So
You do.
I'll try not to. Actually, now that we've had the conversation, the whole first episode I'm going to do is nothing but the most depressing music I've ever listened to.
Yes. And just play that. What is that album?
It's not depressing to me, though. It makes me, I don't know. I like it. But
It's music you listen to when you're depressed.
yeah.
It's, you know what it is? It's if you're not depressed, it is depressing. But if you're depressed, it could kind of lift you out of it for some reason.
Yeah. No, I mean, we've talked about it. Or for me anyway, it makes me feel not alone.
Right. Who's that girl, that female singer?
Oh, that
you play,
one?
like every time.
Oh my God. Who's that female vocalist?
The one you always play when we come.
All I
when
listen
come
to
down.
are female vocalists. Are you talking about
There's a ghost. It's like a
Oh,
little
Phoebe
kid
Bridgers?
ghost. Yeah, oh God.
Yeah.
The Funeral? Is it The Funeral? Is that the name of that
Yeah,
song?
Funeral. Yeah.
Holy shit.
That's some hard shit, man.
That one is.
You better have
that's
your big
rough.
boy pants if you're going to listen to that song.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Woo.
Yeah. Oh my God. I love it.
And it's
but
not
holy
like,
shit.
to me, it doesn't seem like, oh God, we're on the worst tangent right now. No one's heard this song. Anyway, we got to stop.
Drop it in.
All right. John Farrar, next email. He says, Mother Love Brads. You guys hit on the main thing I was thinking about. Would Mother Love Bone have survived the Nirvana obliteration of the music industry? Would they be playing state fairs with Rat and REO Speedwagon? Or would they have evolved like the Chili Peppers or Metallica into the rock band of the 90s that Andy wanted? We will never know. I remember reading that Rolling Stone article where Ed talks about the song of Andy's that he wanted to sing someday, which ended up being Crown of Thorns. When they play it live, he usually goes to Steph and Joan. I forgot about that.
Thank you, John.
That was great,
Love
John. He usually goes to Steph and Joan. Listen to last week's episode if you don't know what we're talking about. And has a moment with them. They put out a box set a few years ago called On Earth As It Is, which has everything they did plus some artwork and a booklet. If you have $150 laying around, it's worth checking out. You didn't mention Malfunction either, but that was Andy's first band. I had that CD when I was 15 and thought it was the greatest thing ever. Now, not so much. Bummed I'll miss you guys next week. Yeah, that sucks. Record stores in Homewood, or in Birmingham, John. Seasick Records. Go to Seasick. Other options beyond that are going to be Charlemagne Records and, oh my God, what's the one I grew up going to? I can't think of it right now. It's been there forever. But definitely go to Seasick. Anyway, that was from John Farrar. Yeah, man. I can't imagine listening to Malfunction now, and I don't even remember what they sound like. I've heard recordings of them before and thinking, oh, this is great shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's just no way that probably held up too well.
I don't think I've ever heard them.
I think I heard some weird like kind of bootleg type recording a long time ago, but that's it.
Yeah, I probably have that way, but nothing recently.
I love it. Playing state fairs with the Rat and REO Speedwagon. Alliteration aside, I just love the combination of those two bands. Like such polar opposites.
I have to say, I love REO Speedwagon.
Hell yeah, you do. REO and Speedwagon, man, they can write some songs. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I hear you.
Those guys.
But my dad used to listen to them when I was real little. So whenever I hear their stuff, I'm like instantly a 4-year-old driving around Chicago, you know, in his car. He had one of those, what is that? Those weird cars that they look like a big potato. Like they had one in Wayne's World.
Oh.
The Pacer? Is it a Pacer?
Maybe. I know what you're talking about.
Or something.
I'm not
like
a car
that.
guy.
But yeah. They had the big window in the back. Like I would lay in the back of the back and look up at like the skyscrapers as we were driving.
I mean, think about how much shit's changed. Like my parents used to throw my ass in the back of this giant tank of a green station wagon. I mean, that thing weighed 75,000 pounds. No seat belt. You know what I mean? You're just like in a missile going down the road. Yeah. And I'm just hanging out in the very back. Like, not where I don't mean the back seat. I mean where, like, you put your groceries.
Trunk. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
The back of the station wagon. And I would pretend I was driving backwards, staring at the people that were behind us in the car.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just being an idiot. Now it's like my parents would go to jail if they did that to if someone did that to a kid now. You know what I mean? Which is good. My parents shouldn't. I mean, that was not the most responsible thing to let us do. And I'm sure it didn't happen a ton, but I hope my mom doesn't listen to this. Anyway, we got one more email, correct? From Jesse?
We do. Yes. You good? Mm-hmm. Okay.
What?
I don't know. It sounded like you were about to say something. Mm-mm. All right. Jesse writes in, Bradlings. When I saw that you guys were going to be covering Mother Love Bone, I got giddy with excitement. When I began listening to Pearl Jam just shy of 2 years ago, I dove headfirst into their history, which brought me to Mother Love Bone pretty early on. While I love Mother Love Bone and listen to Apple on a regular basis, I think Lions hit the nail on the head. Grunge would have killed this band. If Andy's death hadn't happened, artists like Soundgarden, Alice in Chains, and Nirvana would have vastly overshadowed them. While I do believe that Mother Love Bone is vital in the music history of Seattle, and they probably played the most important role in the timeline of Pearl Jam, I think they came in at the tail end of the glam metal phase. I'm not discrediting how great I think the band is. I just feel that they were a little late to their genre of music of choice. I couldn't imagine Andy Wood, who had such a massive personality and flamboyant attitude, being the lead singer of a band like what was birthed out of that town in the early 90s. There is a layer of darkness that people like Eddie Vedder, Chris Cornell, Lane Staley, and Kurt Cobain brought to the front of their bands that drew people into the grunge craze. Though he touched the lives of many of those dudes, that doesn't seem to be who Andy was. I could be wrong because no one will ever know what would have transpired, but that's just my humble opinion. I do think that Andy and Eddie are two sides of the same coin. Their drive and passion are creepily similar, but Andy wanted to be a rock star, and Eddie recoiled from that as much as he could. But no matter what would have been the outcome of Mother Love Bone, Andy Wood's influence on the individuals involved in that scene is apparent. And I think that's why Eddie reveres him in the way that he does. I'm so excited for 2019 and new Single Podcast Theory episodes. I also greatly appreciate the shout-outs to the Porch Podcast. Zach, Michael, and I are trying so hard to bring decent content to our show, and we hope that people are gathering that from listening to us or watching us. Much love, Jesse Ellerby, Zilka.
Hell yeah, man. Yeah. Thanks, Jesse.
Yeah, I mean, I think, we talked about it, but she touched on it too. Like, it is weird how different, like, Mother Love Bone was from all the other bands.
Yeah.
But they're still kind of lumped in with all those bands,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't know. I know you think they would have been just gone. I just wonder if they would have evolved,
Yeah, but I think the only I totally get what you're saying. I think the only thing that deflates that idea, though, is that so much of, at least at the beginning, there seemed to be this like idea of cred that came with the Seattle whole kind of, just the whole aesthetic of it was anti fame, anti all that. But that's exactly what he wanted. He wanted to be bigger than life, and and I don't that just wouldn't have, even apart from the sound of the music, I just think his style of showmanship and how he was a front man just was opposite of what the Seattle vibe was. I don't know. That's just me, though. Who knows, by God. All right, cool.
Well,
that's
hell. That's
all right, Brad.
That's it on emails. Y'all keep sending them in.
We'll read them the best we can. We ain't smart, though. We're simple folk. I just get up when the rooster calls me and go to bed when I hear the owl start a hoot. And you like that?
That's a good one.
Man, I'm just falling flat this week.
Yeah.
What's the deal, man?
I don't
Or
know.
you're just not listening to me? Am I
No,
being
I
my
think-
usual, comedic genius, but you're just not paying attention to me this week? That's probably what
Yes.
it is.
That's what it is.
Yeah, that's what it is. I'm great.
I'm
I'm
not
real funny.
I'm just like super. I'm not tired, but I'm like just kind of tired.
All right, good talk. So that was the emails. Let's get on to the reason for the episode, which is the Chris Cornell tribute. I don't even know what to say. I mean, if you've been listening to this podcast, you know our feelings about Chris Cornell. He's dearly loved in SPT land. I don't know. You want to kind of drive the ship on this one, or steer the ship on this one?
Sure.
Do it.
I'd love to. Yeah, you want to we'll just start at the beginning, huh?
Huh? All right.
So this Chris Cornell tribute show, when was this? Wednesday? I think it was Wednesday night. 16th.
Sounds right. Man, we're really just nailing the facts right out of the gate, aren't we?
Yeah,
It was sometime last week.
It was sometime last week. No, January 16th, 2019.
Did you just say 20th and 19?
20 and 19.
Ugh.
Yeah. Isn't that how people say it?
No.
19 and 91.
Oh, Brad.
What?
Oh, my God. No. 20 and 19. No. You're the only person that's ever said that in the history of human civilization. 20 and 19. Do you remember people saying 20 and 3?
No.
No. Why would it start with 20 and 19?
Well, I'm bringing it back.
Oh, okay. Good job.
All right. So, you want to just go from, we'll just start with the bands, or you want to talk about the show overall?
Well, I
Because
mean,
there's a lot of, like, track by track, there's a lot going on here.
yeah, I mean, we're not going to stop and hang out for every song or whatever, but let's just go
Right.
ahead and go in order.
Kick it off. Okay.
Yep.
So, the Melvins, they came out and started playing Kicking Machine
Yeah.
with, what is it? With Your Heart, Not Your Hands, which is a Malfunction song, which I thought was weird that they played that song.
Or that they played that song, or that they played a Malfunction song.
That they played a Malfunction song.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's probably just another kind of like tribute to the connection of all those bands and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. They played Leech, which, again, it's a Green River song.
Mm-hmm.
And then Heart of Honey, and then they ended with Spoon Man.
Well, I think it's cool that they did that as well, because a lot of those Seattle bands really looked up to the Melvins a lot.
Yeah.
So it's cool, all these years later to have a tribute for one of those bands that was influenced by them, and them to pay respect to those bands, I don't know that that's why they did it, but I'll believe that.
Well, and those bands and those songs really fit more with the Melvin sound,
Yeah, it's true.
Are you a fan of them? Do you like them, or
I do.
like
I
I never
actually do.
could get into them?
I totally understand why someone would not like the Melvins.
Yeah,
But they just some of their their sounds were so crazy, and I don't know. I just always was kind of attracted to their music.
You talk about grunge, like that's
Yeah,
grunge
man.
music,
Right.
I mean, Pearl Jam is not grunge.
Fucking sludgy and
yeah, slow and like that's what grunge music was. All right, so then Rita Wilson came out, and that's Tom Hanks's wife,
Right.
and she sang "The Promise" with Pete Thorne.
That's cool.
Which that song was, that one is kind of interesting because it was recorded for a movie called The Promise, and it was released like 2 months before Chris passed away. So that was like the last song,
he did.
you know.
Yeah.
All right, then Jimmy Kimmel came out, and he was kind of like the host for this whole thing. You know, it's
really?
weird. Like, I watched like the whole thing of this, like 4.5 or 5 hours.
Wow.
It didn't really. It was a pretty loose thing. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, it
Jimmy,
seemed like it was just a big party and
yeah,
had
exactly. Like
instruments on
Jimmy
the
Kimmel
stage.
came out. It wasn't like, you know, super produced like the Oscars or something.
Sure.
You know, and a lot of we'll get into it later with Jack Black, but it seemed like there was a lot of like in between bands. Like, we don't know what's happening, and we just need to fill time
dude,
while
I
the
bet
next.
that was a logistical clusterfuck.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh man, I've played those like not thrown. It's thrown together is not the right word. This thing
Yeah.
was not thrown together, but
yeah.
just like when you got that many bands and that many setups and that many people that like, no, I'm playing through my amp and my guitars. I'm
Right.
not using someone else's gear because that's my.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I get it. It's their
Yeah.
sound. You know.
yeah.
But that just means like, man, you gotta constantly be like mic and drum kits and switching people around.
Right.
Everyone wants their monitors different and ugh.
And there was so many like one-off performances that stuff was happening like on the regular,
Right.
you know. But they got it at some point. They started playing tape. Like,
just real quick. So I'm sorry before
yeah.
you move on. I just got to mark down on this piece of paper here for you. This is a note for you, and we'll talk about it later. But for you to never say "on the reg" ever again, even if you're, you know, quoting someone else.
Right.
Let me just finish making this note here on the reg. And I just do like a big
send me
like
that.
line through a circle here as
Right.
no to remind me that that's
text
a no.
me that.
Yeah, I'll take a picture
put-
of it and everything too.
Yeah.
But, okay,
But
sorry.
You know
I
what
just
else? Put it in the mail. Like put it in an actual snail mail.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
I'll frame it up. And
Yeah,
put it
well, you
on
know
the
I
wall.
do that real well. Anyway, I just wanted to point that out. So go ahead, move on.
Okay. All right. Moving on. What was next?
I mean, I
Nikki-
can't carry the show all by myself, Brad. Okay?
Yes.
It's a lot of responsibility, okay?
I got you.
Okay. all right. I'm sorry we had to do
Nick-
this in front of everybody.
I know. It's the only way I'm gonna learn.
I know.
I need to be
We'll talk
shamed
later.
into it.
Yep.
Right. Okay. Nika Costa.
Oh, she's so good, man.
And Alan Johannes.
So explain to me this, since you
Mm-hmm.
saw like the whole fucking thing.
Yeah.
Now I saw that Nick Acosta played, but the only thing I saw her was she was just singing backup.
Oh no.
It was like Miguel, and so I haven't seen yet.
Yeah, we'll get into that later.
Okay,
This
cool.
was she actually sang this disappearing one
Oh
song,
wow. Okay,
which is
cool.
from Euphoria Morning.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it was really good.
I want to see that.
I have to say I've never heard of her before.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what drives me crazy. Is she's amazing, and no one's ever heard of her.
Yeah. Really good, real pretty. Not that should matter, but sorry ladies.
Well, she's like in a good way. Like she'll fuck shit up. She's rock and roll as hell.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Dude, I love it.
Yeah, she was awesome. And Alan Johannes. Do you know who that is?
I don't think so.
Crap. I looked him
You're
up.
probably
and I
gonna say it,
forgot.
and I'm gonna be like, oh, I hate myself.
No, I'm not, because I wish you did know, because I can't remember and I didn't write it down.
Okay.
Who
Well,
he is. I think
We'll just get
he-
some hate mail.
He's one of those, yeah, from the Alan Johannes fan club.
Yeah.
You sons of bitches!
Exactly.
How dare you? He's one of those dudes that he's been in like 30 different bands over the years. Like he's one of those. A lot of these people that I've never heard of are people that have been in the background, studio guys.
Sure.
With all these people. All right, then let's see. Chris Stapleton comes out, plays the keeper.
Yeah.
Again, I'm not. Chris Stapleton's one of those dudes where I've heard how insanely good he is, and I have total respect for him. But
Yeah, it's not your thing, though.
It's just not my thing. And again, he came out and did that, and that was it.
Yeah.
Great song though, really good song.
Yeah, he did a good job.
Then like Jimmy Kimmel comes out and he's like, are you guys ready for this? I don't think you're ready for this next group. And the Foo Fighters come out, and they fucking tear it up.
Yeah, man.
It was really slow. Like these first, I don't know, what was it, four or five? Well, besides the Melvins, but like after the Melvins, you get these 3 or 4 just really laid back, pretty much acoustic songs.
Right.
Then the Foo Fighters come out and fucking just tear it up.
Yeah.
They played No Attention, which is off of Down on the Upside. Then they played a Devo song, Girl You Want, which is Soundgarden had covered that back in the day.
Right.
And then they played the Cheech and Chong song called Earache My Eye.
Yeah.
What?
I don't know. It's just funny.
You just okay. And then Dave's like, I want to play one more song, and he plays Everlong by himself on his electric guitar. Not
cool.
acoustic. You would think it'd be acoustic, but it wasn't.
Yeah. He fooled you.
But it was awesome.
Yeah, it's great.
Because I realized that with all this love, the one person that would have appreciated it the most can't be here tonight. So, I want to play one more song for him.
Then Johnny Cash's son comes out, and he introduces Josh Homme, because Josh Homme plays Rusty Cage, but he played the
Play the Johnny Cash version.
the Johnny Cash rendition. I don't know how you say it.
Yeah.
His version of
Arrangement
it.
or whatever.
Really cool. And he played a little snippet of Black Sabbath's Hand of Doom,
Yeah.
like at the end of it. It's fucking badass.
Josh Homme's a badass anyway. I mean,
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, that was really cool. And then I would think the first controversial moment, not controversial, but I've heard people bitching immensely about Adam Levine
What?
singing. Yeah, dude.
Dude, he's such a huge fan of all those bands.
I know. I think it was awesome.
And he sings
I
like
thought
a fucking bird. I wrote down in my notes. Where is it? Let me find it. Right here. The only male vocalist up to par to sing a Chris Cornell song that was really there that night.
That song has got a lot of high notes in it, and he hits them.
murders
He sounds like Chris. I mean, is fucking. Let me start over. Adam Levine, Jesse Carmichael from what's their band?
Maroon 5?
Maroon 5, and then Stone comes out too.
It was cool, man.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was great. See, this was California. Started at 10 o'clock at night our time, so I didn't get to really, I didn't get to watch any of the streams and stuff. But the next day at work, I'm reading all these, posts and shit, and people commenting, and they're just all up in arms about Adam Levine, from Maroon 5. And I'm like, what the fuck? First of all, this is a tribute. I don't care who's there. If they're playing to celebrate this guy. How can you give him shit?
Yeah,
you know,
that's dumb.
It's dumb. And then I watched it and listened to it, and I'm like, this sounds fucking incredible.
It was.
So.
I mean, I haven't seen all of it yet, but to me, that was one of the most like solid performances of the night.
Definitely.
So nice and lonely. Stolen as the old moon falls. A mirror shows another face. Another place to hide it all. Another place to hide it all. And I'm lost behind words I'll never find. And I'm left behind. Seasons roll on by. Sleep well for more blanket.
And I will say this: all these, any of these like music cues that we're putting in, this is all just people in the audience recording with YouTube, so they're not going to sound like studio quality.
Right.
But whatever, you get the idea. Then you talk about controversy. Miley Cyrus comes out and sings. Yeah, she sings "2 Drink Minimum," which is a song off Chris's solo album called Scream.
Oh, I didn't see that one. Okay. So I don't know about that one, but I saw her other.
Oh, you're talking about, yeah, we'll get into that in a minute. She sings, is it Sail Hello to Heaven?
Yep.
I think it is. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it was, dude, it was weird and like, I don't know, shocking is kind of a harsh word, but it was weird. Like, oh, like what's Miley Cyrus doing here?
Right.
But she sounds great. She sounded
she can
great.
Sing, man.
All right, then we get Audio Slave.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
No. I was looking at my wrong notes.
Okay. Audio Slave comes out, which was basically Tom Morello and Brad Wilk, and then we'll get into each song because there's different like guest people playing bass. I don't know why. You know, this might be a good time to bring up the fact that besides Tim Comford, the bass player from Audio Slave, not being at this show at all, Eddie and Mike were also not there.
Yeah, I thought, yeah.
Very odd, but I have no clue why they wouldn't be there.
Yeah, me either.
So I think that's
I was wondering
all
when
to say.
that was going to come up because I don't really have anything to say about it, but I just thought that was strange.
Yeah. It's just strange. I'm sure they had their reasons. It could have been scheduling stuff. You know,
and like I can see Eddie not wanting to just be a part of anything that he feels like. I don't know. I'm not going to pretend to know anything.
I know, dude. I mean, we could do a whole show on why we think he wasn't there.
Well, I think what's weird is that they both weren't there. I think Eddie not being there, that would make sense to me. I could see him being like, "No, I'm cool. You guys do your thing. That's great. That's not how I want to remember my friend," or something like that. Like that wouldn't surprise me. But I just thought Mike not being there, and they're doing all this like temple stuff, and I don't know, man.
It's weird. It's strange, but I mean, who knows? So Geezer Butler, if you don't know, from Black Sabbath, bass player from Black Sabbath. I mean, this got me super excited to see him come out. And Perry Farrell, they do Cochise.
I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I skipped that one just because I thought there's a too good of a chance that Perry Farrell's vocals would just be too terrible.
They weren't great, but they weren't awful either.
Okay, cool. Well, then that's good.
Yes.
Like for him, I don't mean that in a mean way. I mean,
right. But then Juliette Lewis comes out to sing "Be Yourself."
Oh, cool.
Not cool.
Pretty bad.
It's pretty bad.
Yeah.
Then we get Chris Chaney from Jane's Addiction, and Sam Harris from Ex Ambassador, and who was it? Tim McElrath from Rise Against to sing "Set It Off."
Oh, cool. Yeah, I didn't see that one.
That was pretty good. And then Chris Chaney and Brandy Carlisle singing "Like a Stone."
That was so good.
Yeah. And I think that is when, right before Like a Stone, that's when Tom Morello gives a little speech kind of remembering Chris.
It was really an honor to know Chris Cornell as a friend and a bandmate, but mostly, just like you, we were always just huge fans. He was a huge influence on Rage Against the Machine, proving you could mix monster rock riffs with smart lyrics and punk rock attitude. And yes, Chris wrestled with demons, but he harnessed those demons for 52 years and rode them like a motherfucking chariot of lightning strapped with Marshall stacks to make some of the greatest rock and roll of all time. We are saddened that he is gone, but the memory of his unbridled rock power, his chiseled chest and outrageously perfect hair, and most of all, his music is with us forever. Chris, your light will never be outshined. In a world where a lot of music and musicians come and go, I know two things that are fucking invincible and will endure forever. Chris Cornell's beautiful voice and our love for him.
That's a great speech.
It's really good.
And I want
Really-
to say that, because you were talking about, looked at the wrong notes again. Move on. God. I'm done. Bye.
Robert Trujillo and Dave Grohl come out to play Show Me How to Live. This was fucking awesome. You know, again, if you don't know, Robert Trujillo is from, he was in Suicidal Tendencies. He's played with Ozzy. He's currently been with Metallica for over
time.
15 years. Yeah. So, you know, it's interesting, like Tim Commerford, fucking great bass player.
Yeah.
I mean, Rage Against the Machine, Audio Slave. So to have like Geezer Butler and Robert Trujillo, not just some like random like studio bass players, but like really
watch it.
fucking, well,
Just kidding.
yeah, sorry. You know what I'm saying.
I know what you mean.
That was pretty cool to see and hear those guys playing with Tom and Brad.
Yeah.
So, all right. Then we get, let's see, Brad Pitt comes out and introduces Chris's daughter, Toni Cornell. Mm-hmm. And she plays Redemption Song with Ziggy Marley.
Ooh, I need to look that up.
Yeah, that was pretty good. Really, really good. She's what is she, like 14?
She's
I
young.
think? She's young,
Yeah.
but she's becoming a really good singer. And she has a little speech later on in the night just talking about her dad, and it was really kind of touched my heart to hear her talking about music and talking about her dad and her talking about music, because me and Amanda talk about bands and songs and just all this stupid trivia stuff that I know. Like, I talk to her about it all the time.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. It's she sang, his daughter sang on one of the morning shows after he had died. She sang Hallelujah.
Mm-hmm.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah. All right, then we come to probably my favorite part of the entire night. Jack Black comes out and is filling time before Metallica comes out.
Spoon Man.
Yeah. And he references the fact that he's like, he didn't have enough material, I think, because he's just like, he's just trying to kill time.
He's not even trying to hide the fact that he's just stalling.
Right. He says something about it like, I'm living a nightmare right this moment. And then he looks and like Hetfield starts walking towards him. And then he gets like super excited. He's like, this guy's ready. And they start joking around and James starts playing the riff to One.
Yeah.
You know, and Jack starts singing with him. It's really funny.
Yeah.
And then the whole band comes out and they kind of continue playing One. Like the whole band kicks into One. And then they do a Soundgarden song called All Your Lies from the Ultra Mega OK album.
All right. We're here to have some fun. I hope you are having some fun out there. Celebrating life, all right? Beautiful. We're grateful to be here. And we've had some, obviously, interactions with Soundgarden and Chris on the road, so we're grateful to be here and be part of this.
Fucking awesome.
Yeah, that's great.
Did you see this? Did you watch
yeah.
this one?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this was fucking killer. You know, we were talking about it. Metallica is like the greatest cover band ever in that when they play someone else's songs, there's just something super special about the way they play other people's songs.
Mm-hmm. They definitely. Well, it's just James with the riffs, man. It's that fucking right hand. It's like, I mean, I don't really mean this, but you'll get the point. It's like, whenever you hear them play someone else's riff, it's almost like, no, I get it. You guys are great, and you wrote that, but this is how you should have played it.
Yes. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I'm
That's
right there
James
with you.
to me. He doesn't ever say that, obviously. But when he starts playing someone else's tune, it's like, or someone else's riff, he's like, yeah, it's like this. I don't know. This is just how I always feel about James.
They definitely make every cover their own song.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
And then they played For Whom the Bell Tolls, and then Master of Puppets, and
then Head Injury.
Then they played Head Injury, which they kind of fucked up in the beginning.
Oh, they didn't kind of fuck it up. They just stopped. They just stopped. I love how James stops, and it's obviously like, okay, we fucked up. Lars keeps playing the same beat for like another 10 seconds.
Right.
Well, like way past like when it's obvious, like, okay, we're gonna start over. What are you doing? Do you hear that you're the only one playing right now on this stage? God, he's just like got this big goofy smile on his face. He's like, all right, take two. I'm like, Jesus, Lars. James is just sitting there like, what the fuck? Who is this little nymph that I've spent my whole life and career with? You know?
Yeah.
It's funny.
Yeah, it was pretty awesome. Two great, another Ultra Mega OK song, and I think at some point James was talking about, you know, this is a celebration of Chris, and you know, kind of giving a tribute to Chris. These two songs were like perfect for Metallica to cover. I mean, it would have been cool to hear them play maybe some of the more well-known stuff. But again, Metallica, like, leave it to Metallica to do their own thing. And like, you know, you guys do the big songs that everyone knows you're gonna play anyway. We're gonna do some fucking deep cut shit off the first album.
Well, and they had relationship. I mean, they knew Chris and Soundgarden.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
you know.
This is another thing which I don't want to get on this too much more, but maybe this is the last time I'll bring it up. People just bitching. Well, no, we're gonna bring it up here in a minute, but people bitching about Metallica playing Metallica songs at this thing. Like, how dare they not play all Soundgarden?
Were they complaining
stuff?
about the Foo Fighters?
No. No.
Okay. Well, they're Metallica. They can do whatever the fuck they want to do, and they were legit
I mean,
personal friends of Chris Cornell.
Yeah, exactly.
I think he would have been
Puppets
very happy if he could have watched that performance.
Maybe Puppets was his favorite song.
Yeah.
And they were like, we're going to play Puppets for him. You know what I mean? Just like, who the fuck cares? Like, Metallica's there to honor their friend. Like, why do you give a fuck if they...
Well, and they were also using their stage, weren't they?
Soundgarden?
No, the tribute night.
What do you mean?
Because Metallica's been out playing shows.
Oh, yeah.
Like, they used the Metallica stage setup, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's literally their stage on top of this. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, whatever. It's stupid.
Anyway. Yeah, that was... Metallica was fucking awesome. And again, me and you both are big Metallica fans, so we're kind of biased, but I thought they were incredible. And they, interesting note, they played Head Injury again in Tulsa like 2 nights ago.
Yeah, it was like 2 nights later. Yeah.
Yeah. Which I'm hoping to get either one of those songs in this week when I go see them.
Yeah, man.
All right, let's move on. Ryan Adams comes out. And he is playing with a band called the Section Quartet.
Yeah, it's a 4-piece quartet in LA there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And they're kind of known for doing like rock covers with what is it, a cello and
viola and 2 violins, I think.
Yeah.
Something like that.
And also Don Was.
Yeah, man.
I'm sure you know who that is. They played Dead Wishes and Fell on Black Days.
Mm-hmm.
Good stuff.
I saw. I couldn't find Fell on Black Days, but I watched Dead Wishes, and that shit was awesome. I think that was one of the best. I was really surprised. I was like, I didn't think Ryan Adams would do a terrible job of anything. He never does a terrible job of anything, it seems like. But for some reason, I just felt like it wasn't going to be that great of a performance. But
yeah,
that one song that I saw, I was like, holy shit, dude. That's how you take someone's song and pay tribute to him. Like that sound, he made it sound like and I mean this in a good way. He made it sound like a Ryan Adams song. It was like,
that's what I was gonna say. It totally had like his little twist on it. It wasn't just a straight up cover,
and not in a clever way. Like, it sounded like Ryan Adams' song because it felt like he really meant it. Like it felt like he wrote it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
that was cool.
It was cool. And then we get the final 2 performances of the night, which was Temple of the Dog and then Soundgarden. Yeah. So we'll start with Temple of the Dog. And actually, Stone came out. I think they announced like Temple of the Dog, but then Stone was like, "Well, we're gonna do some Chris Cornell songs first." So let me get over here. They do Preaching the End of the World, and that was with Nick. I can't.
Nick
how do you say her name? Nick Acosta. She comes back out and she sings on this. Like she's like you said, backup vocals. She's singing. She sings on this one.
Which song is it? What'd you say?
Preaching the End of the World.
Okay, cool.
Which is from Euphoria Morning.
Yeah, I got to look those up because I said, I only saw when she was singing backup.
Yeah, it was her and that Alan Johannes again with Stone, and then Brendan O'Brien is playing bass.
Hell yeah.
And then Josh Freese on drums.
Yeah, Josh Freese on the drums, man.
Yeah.
God, he's like one of my favorite drummers ever.
Yeah, this part was interesting because I'll go through each song. We'll try not to dwell on it too much, but like this was like the all stars. Like they they brought out a bunch of different players for each of these songs.
Right.
Until they got to the Temple of the Dog stuff, which was all just different singers. But then they played, let's see, where am I? Can't Change Me, which is also from Euphoria Morning. And they switched out, Eric Avery plays bass from Jane's Addiction. Then they play a Soundgarden song called Hunted Down. And that is William Duvall comes out to sing. And he is the current Alice in Chains singer.
Yeah.
And Hunted Down is with Jerry Cantrell, and then Jeff was playing bass, and Josh again on drums. Then we get
Josh
to
was one of the people that they had talked about replacing Dave A.
Right.
Back in the day.
And he's played, you probably know better than I do, but he's played with like everybody.
Yeah, he's
Josh
now
Freese.
9 Inch Nails. He's with Sting right now. No, not Tool.
Bunch of like pop punk stuff in the early days too. Isn't he? What was the band he started with?
He's in Devo now too.
Yeah, he started
the Vandals.
With the Vandals. Yeah. So then we get to the like Temple of the Dog proper songs. So they bring out Fiona Apple to sing on All Night Thing. Pretty good.
Yeah, I love her, man.
I'm sure. I bet you do.
God, I love her. She's terrifying. Yeah, I think that's why I love her.
This was interesting because do you know who played drums on this?
The video that I saw, I don't think I could see the drummer.
Yeah, it's Matt Chamberlain.
Oh, get the fuck out! I mean, that's her boy.
Yeah. And Brendan came back out and played on this. So. David Garza, I think it's a guitar player with Fiona.
That makes sense.
And then we get Stone comes out and does his little speech talking about, Chris and just thanking the people that made this happen. And he does mention Ed and Mike at this. He's thanking all the people that are there that helped make this happen. And then he mentions like he wanted to shout out some people that aren't there, and he mentions Ed and Mike and some other people. So I don't know if you want to put that in. Then again, Lily Cornell comes out and says some stuff, and then we get Reach Down, which this is a really I thought this was
a good
incredible,
one, man.
Really good.
Miguel on vocals.
I never heard of him before. Miguel is a R&B artist.
And I never would have thought of him singing a Chris Cornell song, but they picked the right song because he fucking murdered that vocal.
Yeah.
Don't you think?
Yeah. I totally agree with you. It was awesome. It was really, really fucking good. I mean, just an R&B singer you wouldn't think of on any of this stuff, but he sounded great. Let's see, and this was one that Nika Costa was doing backups on, but this was Stone, Jeff, and Matt Cameron. So this was like Temple of Dog, actual Temple of Dog. Then we get everyone's favorite Hannah Montana comes out to sing "Say Hello to Heaven."
That shit was good. Please don't tell me
she was awesome.
Okay, cool.
She was fucking awesome.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, she's doing, she's, it's Miley Cyrus singing "Say Hello to Heaven," and it was great.
It was really good, man. I mean, she doesn't have the same, obviously not the same style of vocal as him, but it was fun. And this comment is meant to be a, I don't know, a pat on the back for Chris, not to shit talk anyone else, but it's funny when you're a singer that not only is it usually best to get a female to cover your songs, but when the females even have a hard time with your male higher register. You know what I'm saying? Like some of these female vocalists that are great. I mean, say what you want to. Miley Cyrus is talented as fuck, whatever. You don't have to like it, but it's not like she can't sing. She's not some auto-tune pop star. You know what I mean?
Right.
And she even had a hard time trying to pull off some of his shit at the end of that song, you know?
Yeah.
It happened a couple different times with some really great female vocalists. His voice range was just so insane.
Well, somebody was on Facebook saying that they didn't really like the whole night, and that's someone's opinion, and that is just as valid as you or me. But the point he was making was it just shows how much how talented Chris was,
right?
And kind of like what you were just saying, like I agree with him on that point. Like, we're so used to Chris singing these songs, and he was fucking amazing. So when someone else tries to come out and sing them, and they don't sound 110% like Chris,
right?
You might be like, yeah, like I prefer Chris.
Right.
So I get that. I get people saying that, but people just bitching. And I'm not pointing at anyone in particular. There was like a million comments about people saying, you know, like, people are so upset about Miley Cyrus, and it's like, watch her and listen to her, and then get back at me, because she sounded great, and she's obviously a fan, you know.
That's the thing too, is like, I could be wrong, but she's another one where in my notes I wrote, like, it seems like she's lived with this song too. Like, it might not be true. Maybe she just started listening to it a few months ago, but she sang it in a way that made me feel like she had been in her car driving and singing that song just by herself in the past or something, because she just likes that shit. That's how it came across.
Totally. All right, let's move on, because I'm sick of talking about Miley Cyrus.
Okay.
We get Hunger Strike, and this was Brandi Carlile and Chris Stapleton.
Yep.
Doing the Ed and Chris parts on this. Pretty cool.
Yeah. Brandy's amazing.
Yeah. And Brendan O'Brien played on this also. Just want to throw that out there, because I know how much you like him.
So what?
I know how much you like him.
Oh, hell yeah.
And then we get Soundgarden. This was pretty fucking amazing too. If there was anything, like I said, Metallica was my favorite thing. This was my next favorite thing. This was fucking Kim, Ben, and Matt out there with different singers.
Yeah.
And so they started with Rusty Cage with Taylor Momsen. Do you know who that is?
I believe she's in a band now, but she was like a child actress.
Yeah.
I think she's still an actress, but
yeah,
had a band as well, or has a band.
Yeah, the Pretty Reckless.
That's what it is. Yeah.
Yeah. But she was Cindy Lou Who in the Jim Carrey Grinch.
Yeah.
Little, you know, she's fucking awesome. This was a really good rendition of Rusty Cage. Which, you know, again, like, never mind. I'm not even going to go into it.
Okay.
Rusty Cage, it was awesome. Then Marcus Durant comes out, and he is the current singer with the MC5. And he is like, he's a giant dude. I think he's like 6'7" or 6'8". He is a big dude up there on stage playing these songs.
Right.
But then Stone comes out again, still with Marcus Durant singing on Outshined, which that was pretty cool to see Stone just come out on a random Soundgarden song.
Yeah, dude. I love that song.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, Rusty Cage and Outshine are like two of my favorites. Let's see. Then we get Taylor Momsen comes back out again, and they play Drawing Flies. And Buzz Osborne was out there playing also. And Loud Love again with Taylor Momsen, but this time Tom Morello and Wayne Kramer from MC5 come out and play. Let's see. Then Taylor Hawkins comes out, and he's the drummer for the Foo Fighters. This is pretty cool. You know, he's kind of like he's
badass.
he is badass. He is like Dave Grohl Jr. That's how I see him. He is like the perfect guy to play drums because Dave has to sing and play guitar.
Oh yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
I mean, that's one of those like pairings that makes me almost believe in things like fate, or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah,
they're the perfect like. That's the thing I loved about them back in the day too, is that I loved when they would be like they would take over a show on HBO on MTV or something.
Yeah,
and they weren't playing music, and they was just them being them.
Two buddies goofing around.
And I loved it. It made me love the music even more.
Yeah. Yeah, they're both funny dudes. They're both just like, they're rock dudes. Like the prototypical rock guy.
And they're best friends. Yeah.
Both of those dudes are just, they're just fun. So he comes out and starts singing I Awake. And he's just all over it. And then that he also sings Day I Try to Live. And he kills it.
Yeah.
Totally kills it. And then we get the final performance of the night. Brandy Carlisle comes back out to sing Black Hole Sun. Woo! With Peter Frampton playing guitar.
Hell yeah.
And a couple of backup singers. These twin brothers that play with her, I don't know if you know who they are. Tim and Phil Hanseroth.
Yep.
But they're doing like the backup. Yeah. So there's like the solo part is fucking awesome. It's Peter Frampton and Kim Thale just like going back and forth. I mean, it's a long ass.
How cool is that?
Extended. It's so cool, dude. That was so fucking cool. And I don't know what Peter Frampton's personal connection is, you know, but he's such a like a legend in just the music industry. So it was so cool to see him out there playing these songs, you know. Like I said, like it was cool to see all of these people out here, people you wouldn't associate with, you know, Soundgarden or Seattle 90s grunge music, you know.
Yeah.
Chris Stapleton's like a country guy. You know what I mean? Like some of these people you just wouldn't even, again, Miley Cyrus, you know, Taylor Momsen. They're all there to celebrate the life of this guy. And everything I've ever heard about Chris was that he was the nicest guy in the music business.
Yeah. I believe
that. Like everyone loved him. And I'm not talking about just in the last year and a half. I'm talking, you know, the last 10 years.
Sure. Yeah, I hate that. I don't know why I thought that I would have. I don't know. I always. When someone dies like that, it's like he's one of those people that I was kind of hoping that just somehow randomly, like, I could have met.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. And I don't even mean like, I don't mean like hang out and become friends or anything, but just like, I don't know. Maybe to, you know, run into each other somewhere. It's like I've run into all these other people, you know, working in music for so long. Why the fuck didn't I ever get to run into him?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
damn
it. And now there's no chance for that anymore.
Yeah. But. Well, and that goes back to what I was saying, man. Fucking seize the moment and just go. Go to any show that you can. If you're on the fucking fence, just go.
Yeah.
Because they might not be around, you know?
Yeah, that's true.
And it's sad to think about it that way, but that's, you know, I never saw Soundgarden live, and I wish I had.
Yeah, me too. Real bad.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
like I did that with
when-
Leonard Cohen, and he passed away. But he was old. He was old as
Yeah.
dirt. But
Yeah.
never got to see him play.
When they started playing Rusty Cage, I started getting like kind of emotional.
Yeah.
I was like, oh shit. Like
Right.
it's just you're never gonna see them again. Not with Chris. It was just sad. And I was thinking like it'd be cool. I don't know what people would think about like if they toured with just like a rotating slot of singers.
Man, that'd be so hard to pull
Not-
off.
Not like a new singer, but like yeah, I know the logistics would be crazy.
No, I mean if that was, I mean yes, it's totally possible, but man,
Yeah.
that'd be awesome though.
Yeah.
I'd go see that.
Hell.
Well, hell, just start you up a traveling review of Mr. Cornell's music.
Just do like a one-off or like a residency.
Get all these
You
big
know?
stars in there. You're gonna make yourself some change, my friend. We eating steak tonight, hon. None of that cheap shit either. We're going filet mignoni.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
Come on, honey. Grab the kids. We're going to Sirloin Stockade in Murray, Kentucky.
God. Ugh. As every sphincter in my body just tightened up real tight.
So, Black Hell Sun. It's like I think it's like 8 minutes of them playing because of Peter Frampton and Kim just going back and forth.
Yeah.
But then I swear it was like 5 minutes. I don't know if this is like a thing. Maybe someone that's seen Soundgarden can tell me, or if you know, but I don't think you'd know. The song ends, and Matt comes up off his riser, and he's doing his like wave, his Forrest Gump wave, and everyone's hugging and like walking off stage, but Ben and Kim stay on stage, and there's just this like fucking wall of noise between the two of them, and they're almost like ignoring the crowd, and the crowd is just standing there, and the light show is like insane, like it's like strobe light city, and just this like feedback shit coming out of the speakers for like 5 straight minutes.
That's cool.
And it was just weird. And I don't know if that's a Soundgarden thing. I wonder if they used to do that like after every show.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because
or
then
I wonder
Kim
if it
and
was
Ben,
just like this is the last time we're doing this, so
right. Yeah, let it ring out.
yeah.
Cuz they like walked off stage, but the sound and the lights just kept going. It was pretty intense.
Oh, I see what you're saying. They weren't standing on stage making the feedback. They
were for like a minute or two. But then they walked off and it kept ringing out.
Yeah. Well,
It
I think that
it
was definitely
different.
some what's the word for it? I mean,
like a tribute.
no, like a metaphor for. I mean, there's no one left on the stage.
Yeah.
I don't know. Man, what a bummer reason for everyone to get together, but it was
right.
It was great though,
Yeah. Yeah, it was cool. I wish I could have watched it that night, but
Yeah.
it was,
Well, surely they did some filming, and there's going to be some. Surely,
I
there'll be
hope
some
so.
Stuff coming out down the
They
line.
got to.
Yeah.
They got to. Because that's the thing, like you watch it on YouTube and it's
It's terrible.
The sound is just awful.
Right.
Yeah. I want to hear this shit like properly produced.
Well, hopefully it's something that they can put out on maybe DVD or just audio of some sort and continue to raise money for the foundation and everything. So, well, thanks for walking us through that. I can't wait to watch all the stuff that I couldn't fit time in for, but
Yeah.
the stuff I saw was so good though. I was really
it
surprised.
It was cool. And I know we've had some listeners that were at the show, so we'd love
That's
to hear
cool. Yeah, I want to hear
some reviews.
Report back, people.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Well, I just want to remind you guys that you can email us, singlepodcasttheory@gmail.com, or check us out on the socials. If you'd like to support us, you can go to patreon.com, patreon.com/singlepodcasttheory to check that out. We're going to be off next week because we're both going to be out of town. We're going to be enjoying some Metallica shows.
Yeah. Are you going? Do you know yet?
I am.
You going to the show?
I am not going to Birmingham, yeah.
Did you say now or not?
I am now going to the Birmingham show. So
that's awesome.
Worked out.
That's fucking all
dude,
right.
I can't wait. It's my first time.
Yeah, man. Oh, fuck yeah.
Hell yeah. Get to do it together, my friend.
All right.
So yeah, we're going to be off next week, but we will be back with a vengeance on the following week. So you guys take care of yourselves. We'll talk to you soon. And until then, I'm Brad Lyons.
And I'm Brad Blazek saying, don't lock up something that you wanted to see fly.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Amen, brother. Peace.
Be good. Well, hell.
Well, hell.